you, who are your 3 MVP candidates right now? Top 3. Kickers not allowed.
Kickers are not allowed?
No kickers.
That's a ridiculous rule.
I know Cheeseman's off your list after the way he snapped the ball today in Washington.
It's got to be Purdy, Lamar tied at the top, right?
I would say Brock Purdy is number 1 for me. I just think
stop there.
Okay.
Because the next up, we're going to talk Brock Purdy.
What a segue. He read my mind. This is like one of those things in Vegas where they read your mind. Are you Chris Angel or are you Ryan Wilson? I can't even tell right now.
Area man predicts other area man will name favorite as MVP favorite.
Well, we're trying to get to the MVP Purdy conversation.
So
here's the pushback. And Brinson talked about this last week, and you mentioned in our little chat that we do before the games that Brock Purdy is the 5th best player in that team. And I actually really wouldn't push back on that. I will agree with that. But tell me what you think of this, Breach. He's the 5th best player in that team, but he is the most important player in that team because without him, and Kyle Shanahan has said this, that the offense runs through him because he does everything that Kyle wants him to do. We saw Sam Darnold come in and throw a few air balls. That doesn't mean anything. Sam Darnold hasn't practiced in 3 years, basically. Brock Purdy is my MVP as well. Make your case for Brock Purdy since you're wearing red.
Well, I think we're looking at part of the case right here is most starts with 130 passer rating in a season. You look at that list, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, Tony Romo, and then somehow Ryan Tannehill in 2019. But just
they were
the
number 1
number
seed that year.
I think that is true. Weren't they number 1 seed in 2020?
Yeah, it was 2028.
Right.
2019 is when they beat the Patriots in New England. You're right. That's right.
But I mean, if you look at Brock Purdy, I think the one thing, the number 1 stat that stands out to me is his yards per attempt. It is 9.9. Every time he throws the football, the 49ers are essentially getting a first down. That is a bonkers number. It would be the highest in NFL history. Everyone whose
record would it break?
Kurt Warner?
Matt Ryan. You know who Matt Ryan's offensive coordinator was that year?
Kyle Shanahan. And you know what Matt Ryan won that year? MVP. I think everyone who's finished over 9 has won MVP. And so that's just one of the numbers that really stands out to me. And I do think if you took Brock Purdy out and put Sam Darnold in there, I wouldn't feel as comfortable picking the 49ers to win the Super Bowl. So I do think there is a major drop-off if you take him out of the game. And does he have Deebo Samuel? Does he have Christian McCaffrey? Yeah, but did we give, do people say, hey, Joe Montana wasn't great because he had Jerry Rice and Roger Craig? No, Brock Purdy is not Joe Montana, but you can't just say, hey, look, they had these super weapons. Peyton Manning had Marvin Harrison and Reggie Wayne and Dallas Clark. So the good quarterbacks have good weapons. That's why their offense is successful. So I don't think you can hold that against Brock Purdy. I just think he's playing the best football right now. He's running Kyle Shanahan's offense as perfectly as it can be run. If I had to vote right now, I'd give Brock Purdy my vote.
I got no problem. I'm not going to sit here and argue against Brock Purdy winning the MVP because I think that he has been outstanding this year. All right, so a couple of things. When you look at Brock Purdy, Cam Newton made a big stink about the thing with the game manager stuff and all that. I think it's more appropriate to say that Brock Purdy is a system quarterback. And when you say that, people are like, oh, how can you say that? That's so insulting. System quarterback is not pejorative. System quarterback means that you are operating in a system. Tom Brady was a system quarterback. Tom Brady operated Josh McDaniel's system really, really well. Like Cam Newton in 2015, I get where Cam comes from with this because in 2015, he was not a system quarterback. He had Mike Shulo's offense and was just basically take over and just win games by virtue of being a freak show athlete who could throw the ball on the field. But we shouldn't ding. Brock Purdy throws deep too. He throws the ball down the field and he finds guys open. He runs through his progressions perfectly in Kyle Shanahan's offense. And that's what I mean. He's in the system. He runs Kyle Shanahan's system perfectly. They went and traded a bunch of picks for Trey Lance, and Trey Lance couldn't figure out how to operate Kyle Shanahan's system. But Brock Purdy, who was free at the end of the draft, can operate the system. And that's what's so interesting about the phrase system quarterback, because you can be as athletic as you want. I think Brock Purdy's sneaky athletic, but if it's like football, it's his processing is just faster, and his understanding of Kyle Shanahan's system is just faster, and he knows exactly what Kyle Shanahan wants him to do. And Matt Ryan did that too, and when he won the MVP, he understood what Kyle Shanahan wanted out of that offense, and he understood where to deliver the ball. He could throw the ball deep, and I think Brock Purdy reminds me a lot of that year. And Matt Ryan was actually on CBS Sports HQ or Spotlight on Thursday and was talking about it. It was like he's like, yeah, like he said something similar. He's answering Cam Newton's comments. He's like, you can knock Brock Purdy all you want. The dude's throwing the ball down the field and is having a huge year. And if Brock Purdy wins MVP, I don't have a problem with it at all because the 49ers are awesome. And this is not a plug and play situation where you toss Sam Darnold in there and you end up like getting the same results. I don't think you do.
So, Breach, a couple things. You mentioned the over 9 yards per attempt for Week 15. Brock Purdy sadly finished second at 9.4 yards per attempt. Number one was the hysterically awesome Baker Mayfield at 13.6.
That was great, that game.
And I mentioned that because Baker Mayfield becomes the first person in human civilization to get a perfect passer rating in Lambeau Field, which I find hysterical. But getting
as a visiting quarterback.
Thank you for that clarification. I'm sure that Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers and Lynn Dickey, my guy, did it back in the day. But getting back to Brock, a couple things. The craziest throw he made that I saw live, I look forward to going back and watching him, was he got blitzed. There was a hot route. He threw right behind the hot route to George Kittle in a slant. He got hit in the face, and George Kittle ran like for 40 yards or something. It was just one of those plays that you don't notice it until you sort of pay attention, and it's just him operating that offense at such a high level and the accuracy. And there's Tony Romo with Brock Purdy's haircut out of high school, which is pretty funny if you're watching on the old YouTubes there. Another thing I'll mention about Brock Purdy, to sort of follow up Breach's point with the yards per attempt being incredibly high and making him the favorite for MVP, at least historically. In terms of EPA per dropback, Brock was number 1 this week. In terms of EPA per dropback when rushed by 5, he was number 2. Success rate, this offense, passing-wise, was more successful than any other offense. Second, of course, your Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So, again, this offense is clicking at a high level.
Really,
the Cardinals,
the EPA these days.
Well, yeah, we have True Media, so I was looking at it. The Cardinals, to their credit, put up a fight early, and then the wheels came off. But it is what it is. They're in the division. You got to play them. So, Brinson, where are you on your MVP vote? There, are you going the way of me and Breach?
I think like today, if I was sitting in a ballot today, I think it would be. The problem too is is Christian McCaffrey on your ballot?
You can vote for whoever you want. It's your ballot.
No, I'm asking if you have a 5-man ballot, is Christian McCaffrey on your ballot?
Yes.
Oh, I see.
That makes it a little tough to also have Brock Purdy, doesn't it?
Wow.
By the
I might vote for might have Tyreek instead. I don't know. Like Brinson,
you got to go 5 guys, 5 for MVP. I would have
done.
I think I would have Lamar 1, Purdy 2, Josh Allen 3, Dak 4. And it's Tyreek we can get to him, but Tyreek's claim for MVP hit a little bit of a snag when the Dolphins lit up the Jets defense without him.
Oh, the Jets. That team has given up. I don't think that's.
So I'll go CMC 5 because I think that's sort of my knock for moving Purdy to 2.
All right, Breach, you want to give us your 5 real quick before we take a break?
Purdy, Lamar, Christian McCaffrey, and I don't think I need to go deeper than that because I think one of those 3 will win it.
Oh, you're not going to put Josh Allen in there?
I guess Josh Allen's playing well, but he just had a 94-yard game. They didn't need anything from him. I wouldn't move him up.
Okay, I got you.
He was 5th. He was 5th on my ballot last week, and he did not do anything to make me move him higher than 5.
All right, I was just checking. I wanted to get you on